Hello, welcome to Little Vintage World, and welcome to the first video in a new series. So I'm going to be doing a series where I compare books to their adaptation, whether that be a film, a TV series, or maybe even a play. And I thought to start it off, I'd start off with one of my favourite chick lits, which is The Secret Dreamworld of a Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella, and compare it to the film version starring Isla Fisher. So if you have never read The Secret Dreamworld of a Shopaholic and you're thinking about it, let me tell you all about it. This bit, by the way, will be spoiler free, but after this, spoilers ahoy. So if you don't want to know what happens, turn off after I've talked to you about this. So the book is about a woman called Rebecca Bloomwood. She works for a finance company magazine called Successful Saving. She is a journalist and she lives and works in London. She lives in trendy Fulham. She works on Oxford Street. She's constantly surrounded by shops, and that is her downfall. She is in so much debt. She loves shopping. At the start of each chapter, we always have a couple of bank statements or letters from a bank or a credit card company talking through her hilarious excuses to why she hasn't paid her debts yet, whether that be she's broken her leg or it's in the post, or they're quite funny. I didn't obviously pick funny ones there, but they are quite funny. And she basically gets into such a problem that she goes to her dad and she's like, what on earth do I do? And she tries to, her dad says, well, you can either make more money or you can cut back. Both of them go completely wrong. She also tries to win the lottery, which of course doesn't work. But there are so many subplots in between this. It's absolutely hilarious. And of course, being a chick lit, there is a romance involved with a man called Luke Brandon, who has a very interesting relationship with Becky. And it is just a wonderful chick lit, and you should definitely pick it up if you haven't. Now, let's compare it to the film, which stars Isla Fisher as Rebecca Bloomwood. So I want to talk about three things in particular and then talk about it overall in comparison. So the first thing that I want to discuss is location. So in the film, they decided to set it in New York. So there's still lots of shops and, you know, offices, etc. However, the book, as I said, is set in London. Becky lives in Fulham. She's actually teased by her boss because she lives in what he calls trendy Fulham. She lives with her best mate Suze. Suze owns the apartment. It was her 21st birthday present from her parents. And Becky works on Oxford Street, so she's constantly surrounded by shops. And then when she comes home to her parents, they live in lovely fancy Surrey, which is very nice. And I think the location really has this feel for the book and a feel for the film, but obviously very different because they're set in different places. The next thing that I want to discuss is plot. The plot of the book is lots of kind of little things that go on, but obviously one big thing as well, which is Becky's financial problems. But then there's lots of subplots that happen and then they all connect at the end, and it is wonderful, it's hilarious. The film, they changed a lot of the plot. So the plot is that she works for a garden magazine, and then she ends up going for a job at a fashion magazine, doesn't happen, but then goes for a job at Successful Saving, and Luke Brandon ends up being her boss, and it's just, it's very different. I think it works for the film, but I'll get to that after. And the other thing that I want to discuss is the characters and cast. So in the book, we have these wonderful characters, and then in the film we have most of those characters, but a couple of the characters in the book, kind of like the minor characters, not the main characters, they've been changed or they're not featured. So for instance, Alicia, who is in the film, she works at a magazine, she's in the book, but she has a different role in the book. So she works with Luke in the book, and it's all different. But the main characters are the same. However, the big thing about this is because they changed the location to America, the characters are American, or they have American accents. Apart from Luke, who's played by Hugh Dancy, who's British. So he kind of sticks out, and then everyone else has American accent. And it's a bit odd, but again, I think for the film it sort of works. So that's kind of what I wanted, the three main things that I wanted to discuss, but now I talked about it overall. So overall, I like the film. I like it enough to own it on DVD, but I don't think this is this, which is a shame. This is very British in humour, it's quite witty, it's that, you know, that type of tongue-in-cheek kind of humour. This is a bit difficult because this has got a lot of this in, humour-wise, but because they set it in America, it's almost like it's changed the humour. I'm not sure what it is. I am not sure if it is down to the location or down to casting, but there's a big problem with this film and the humour. If you read the book, then you might find it quite funny. You might you might giggle at it, you might just smile, but it's a lovely light-hearted read, and I enjoy it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest lover of Rebecca. I mean, I like her, but I think she's a flawed character, which is brilliant because everyone has their flaws. I mean, there is a part of the book that Tarquin actually fancies Becky, and he goes on a date with Becky. And the way that Becky treats Tarquin isn't very nice at all, and I don't like that part of Becky, but I don't think she's a bad person. But that is completely missed in the film, because in the film they have Suze with Tarquin straight away, and spoilers ahoy, Suze and Tarquin do get together, but it's further down the series. The book is different. The book is very funny, it's very British. The film is almost trying to be British humour, but in America. And I think what has happened is it's done too much. It's done, I'm not sure what it is. Is it the America thing? Is it the casting thing? I'm not sure, but it is. I find the acting on the humour side too over the top. And it's so over the top that it's not funny anymore. I don't laugh at the film. And I think when I read the book, well, I know when I read the book, I don't laugh at Becky. I feel for Becky sometimes, and sometimes I'm smiling with her. Sometimes I'm laughing with her, but I don't laugh at her. But in the film, I think that Becky is slightly ridiculous. I don't mean that in a mean way, I don't find her relatable like I do in the book version. It's too OTT. And I think this is such a great shame that the film has lost a lot of the humour that the book had. I think it almost feels like someone read the first kind of 3 books in the series and tried to merge them together, because they've got, and then kind of got some little aspects of the books, of the first book, like Becky says in the book about the banks having sales on and things like that, and a broken briefcase. That is in the film, little aspects like that. So, but it feels mushed together. It doesn't feel as coherent, and I think it's such a shame, because I think if this film was done right, then actually the books are a book series, so the film could be a film series, but it's not done right. It's lost a lot of its humour, it's lost a lot of its kindness, I think, and also I don't believe in the relationship in the film between Becky and Luke. I don't get the attraction between each other, and that's such a shame. But yeah, that is just my honest review. So I would say that the book is amazing. I give this 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoy it. It's a chick letter that I've read over and over again. I read this for the first time when I was about 13, 14. I was at that kind of age where I was done with children's books and I was trying to get into teen, but I wasn't enjoying teen. So I started adult women's fiction, and this was the first adult women's fiction that I read because I love shopping, and I have read this book so many times. I adore it. I give it 5 out of 5 stars every time I read it, and despite the fact that my writing style kind of tastes have changed, I still adore this book after so many years. But this, I think, is very separate to this, and I like this, but not as much as this, and I don't put them together. So I would say enjoy both of them, but as separate things. Enjoy the film for what it is, enjoy the book for what it is, but they are very different. They are not the same. And I have to say that I'm not one of these people that thinks that the book is always better than the film. Yes, the book is the original medium most of the time, but that doesn't make it better. Things can always be improved upon. But in this case, this hands down is so much better than this, which is a shame. I also think it's such a shame that in this, there was actually part of the book's storyline. So in the book, Becky goes to her dad and is just like, oh, what do I do? Got money problems, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, what about making more money? So she goes to a shop and she gets a Saturday job, but she falls in love with a pair of trousers and she wants them, and then a customer falls in love with them and she wants them, and of course Becky ends up getting fired. And this actually happens in the film, but only in the bonus features. It's part of the deleted scenes. So they did film it, but got rid of it. And again, it's quite interesting actually, something that is very much part of the book. If you compare it to the book, again, I don't find that funny. I find it funny in the book, but I don't find it funny. I find it cringy. I think that's the best way to describe it. So that's how I feel. Sorry if that was quite rambly. I just had to get it out. Word vomit it out. Had to get it out. I hope you've enjoyed this kind of book/review thing. Let me know in the comment section what other books to films, TV series you would like me to discuss. So that's it for this video. If you want to go and get your hands on a copy of The Secret Dreamworld of Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella, I will leave it linked in the description bar below. So that's it for this video. Take care, and I shall see you soon for the next one. Bye for now.